We promised you a big announcement today, and here it goes. We heard from a lot of you after my Father's Day essay last year. I titled it Born Lucky. It was the story of growing up with what we now know as autism. About 15 million kids, roughly 20%, have a diagnosis right now of a mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder, and Lord knows, parts of the other 80% deal with constant problems from bullying and self-esteem to making friends and academics in school. The essay was a very small part of a larger story. That story comes out September 30th in my new book, Born Lucky. I'm writing Born Lucky to give those 15 million kids and their parents hope. You can pre-order the book right now at bornluckybook.com. I am living proof you don't have to be defined by your diagnosis. As a little boy, child psychologist told my parents I have the condition that we now know as autism. I always will. My middle school principal told my parents I was, quote, weird. They were both right. I didn't talk until I was 3. Among many problems, it led to bullying, of course. I had no friends, and teachers got in on the fun, too. In 8th grade, the art teacher said in front of the entire class that if his dog was as ugly as me, he would shave its ass and make it walk backwards. I still remember the quote to this day. Everybody laughed. My dad made me go to art class the next day with the same teacher. And that's what this story is about, my dad. Dad refused to allow psychologists to diagnose me with anything. He knew the world wouldn't change for me, so he had to change me for the world. This is that story. He sold his company, stopped his career, and dedicated the next 18 years of his life to helping me. Dad decided push-ups would whip my 7-year-old body into shape that no schoolyard bully would dare mess with. And soon he had me doing 200 a day. Unable to read social cues, he would take me to dinner. And when I became too loud or off rhythm with his friends or adults at the table, he would casually just tap his watch. That was my signal to stop talking. And later we would pregame, postgame, what I had missed. My diagnosis as having an IQ spread from genius on half of the test to mentally retarded on others would have gotten me significant special treatment. And that was quite in vogue during the late 80s and 90s. Dad knew a cruel world after high school would not make such accommodations, and he was right. He became my best friend for a long time. He was my only friend, my protector, cheerleader, and harshest critic. Those lessons took me from a kid who could barely talk and didn't understand basic social interaction to the White House North Lawn, the battlefields of the Middle East, and now the anchor desk of 2 networks. This is the love story of a father who sacrificed everything, gave so much, he doesn't like the word sacrifice, to help his son. And how with a lot of love, hard work, and unyielding standards, you, anybody, doesn't have to be defined by a diagnosis. Nobody does. And I know what you're thinking right now, if you've stayed tuned in this long. The world doesn't need a TV journalist, of all people, lecturing parents about how to fix their autistic kids. And you're right. But that's not what this is about. This is about giving hope to tens of millions of parents whose kids are struggling every day. Not just with autism, but ADHD, learning disabilities, anxiety, bullying, and the difficulties of growing up. It's hard. Your kid, your grandkid, doesn't have to be defined by the diagnosis. Life in the real world doesn't give participation trophies, and the experts aren't always right. I've never talked about this before with anybody, but it's time to say thank you to my dad. The book comes out September 30th, and I would be honored if you'd come on this journey with me. You can pre-order the book at bornluckybook.com.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.